In a small, remote village nestled deep in the misty woods, there was a house that everyone feared. It stood atop a lonely hill, shrouded in perpetual darkness, and locals whispered tales of the malevolent spirit that inhabited it. The house, known as the Widow's Manor, had earned its name from its tragic history. Many years ago, a young woman named Abigail had lived there, deeply in love with her husband John. Their life was a picture of happiness until one fateful winter's night when John left to fetch firewood and never returned. Weeks turned into months, and Abigail's heartache turned to madness as she awaited her husband's return. Local search parties found no trace of John, and the villagers began to suspect he had abandoned her. Abigail's spirit withered, and she became a recluse, seldom seen outside her home. One frigid winter, the villagers decided to check on Abigail, fearing the worst. As they approached the widow's manor, they saw an otherworldly light emanating from the windows, and mournful wails pierced the silent night. Terrified, they broke down the door to find the house empty, save for a candlelit room. In the center of the room, they found Abigail's lifeless body, a portrait of sorrow and despair. She clutched a letter from her husband, written just before his disappearance. He had become lost in a snowstorm and died in the wilderness, his last thoughts of Abigail. But Abigail's soul did not find peace. For years, her tormented spirit remained trapped within the walls of the widow's manor, grieving for her lost love. Locals claimed to hear her sorrowful cries and glimpsed her ghostly figure through the windows on stormy nights. The story of Abigail's ghost spread through the generations, and the widow's manor became a place of dread, never to be approached after dark. It was said that those who dared to enter the house at night would be met with unimaginable horrors. One moonless night, a group of adventurous friends, driven by bravado and curiosity, decided to investigate the widow's manor. Armed with flashlights and courage, they ventured into the cursed house. The air grew frigid as they explored room after room, hearing faint whispers that seemed to echo with Abigail's sorrow. As they reached the room where Abigail had met her tragic end, they saw her ghostly figure by the candlelit table. Her eyes were empty voids of grief, and her anguished wails filled the room. The friends, paralyzed by fear, watched in horror as the candles flickered and the room grew darker. In a moment of desperation, they fled from the room, but Abigail's ghost pursued them, her mournful cries echoing through the house. She seemed to be everywhere at once, her presence becoming increasingly malevolent. Realizing they were trapped in a nightmare, the friends made their way to the attic, where they found a dusty chest. Inside, they discovered the long-lost letter from John, Abigail's husband. As they read it aloud, a brilliant light burst from the letter, engulfing the attic. Abigail's ghost appeared one last time, her spectral form writhing in agony as she was finally freed from the torment that bound her to the widow's manor. The friends, trembling with fear, rushed from the house as it crumbled into darkness behind them.